A drone strike on a passenger train in Ukraine's northeast has killed at least 5 people as Russia launched a barrage of deadly overnight attacks. Ukrainian authorities say that the train was carrying more than 200 passengers when a carriage was struck and caught fire near a village in the Kyiv region. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the strike as terrorism and said that it undermines efforts to end the war. Russia has intensified attacks on Ukraine's energy and transport infrastructure in recent months. Now, as winter tightens its grip on Ukraine, thousands of families living close to the front line are facing freezing temperatures, falling power supplies, and the constant threat of attack. Humanitarian workers are racing to deliver food, fuel, and warm clothing. And they're trying to persuade those still clinging on to leave before it's too late. DW's Rebecca Ritters followed one such operation in the southern Zaporizhzhia region.
Out of all the difficult winters since Russia launched its full-scale invasion, this one is proving the hardest. Along the front line, Russian forces are creeping closer, and Moscow's relentless attacks on energy infrastructure have left people with almost no protection against the freezing cold, making humanitarian work essential.
У нас сьогодні були 2 планові евакуації, заплановані заздалегідь. Сьогодні вже по дорозі в нас додалося ще 3 евакуації, бо людей вже треба рятувати не тільки від ракет, не тільки від війни, але і, на жаль, від погодних умов.
This woman's house has no gas and no running water. And Ihor and his team worry it will soon be directly on the front line.
Ми в найближчі дні шукаємо для вас домівку, спробуємо це зробити, щоб разом вас відсюди забрати.
She doesn't want to leave without her animals, her cats, dogs and ducks. So for now, the team does what they can to keep her warm.
Зараз ми вам дров трохи привезли. Дров привезли, корму та їжі. Тоня, там в пакеті є теплі носки і лікарства від простуди.
They leave food for her animals too, but depart with a stark warning.
Родненька, коли будуть гатити, вам топливо сюди ніхто не привезе. Тут ви не зможете залишатись. Якщо ще трохи вони підійдуть, ми вас вже не зможемо забрати разом з хазяйством. Тоді либо ви одні, либо остаєтесь на погибель.
With no more time to persuade her, Ihor and his team move on. To advance further, though, they need police clearance.
Да, скажи, будь ласка, а ви не можете підсвітити камишуваху, а?
Roads considered relatively safe not long ago are now being targeted by unmanned drones. This group's convoy was attacked just a few weeks ago. In the next village, day-to-day life has become unbearable for some. This woman has decided to leave while she still can.
Сподівалися, що все наладиться або війна закінчиться, а воно тільки гірше стає. Ситуація вимушає нас кудись тікати.
Her husband and son are leaving too, but her mother refuses to go.
Не переживайте за мене. Та не буду. Ні, синок, я тут син у мене похований. Лена на 5 минут за нього старша. Не бросю.
А, ви це мати, да?
She stays, guarding the house and the family's memories, alone.
Не плач, все буде хорошо.
In a few weeks, spring may bring some relief to those who have chosen to stay, but with the front line edging ever closer, many may soon be forced to reconsider whether they're ready or not.
And now a report from the Financial Times is saying that the U.S. is tying its security guarantees to Ukraine to a peace deal that would likely involve ceding all of the Donbas region to Russia. The White House has denied the report and said that its role is to bring the two sides to the negotiating table. Sources told the publication that the U.S. promised to deliver more weapons to Ukraine if Kyiv agreed to withdraw from all of Donbas, which is made up of Luhansk and Donetsk. Russia currently occupies 90% of the Ukrainian region, but some of Ukraine's key defenses are in the parts of it controls. Now, Trump has previously suggested Ukraine would have to give up territory to make peace, but Kyiv says that it will not cede land to Russian forces, which they have failed to capture. Let's get more on this. We are joined by military and security expert Gustav Gressel, who is with Austria's National Defense Academy. Welcome to the program, and thank you for joining us. So we've just saw the map there. Almost all of Luhansk has been captured by Russia, but a large part of Donetsk remains out of Moscow's control, despite years of fighting that has stretched longer than the Soviet Union's entire campaign in the Second World War. What would ceding this territory mean for Ukraine's defensive posture?
It would basically mean that Russia would gain 1 or 2 years of progress in the war without losses and without sacrificing man and equipment to do so, and continue from a new line that is further forward. There's absolutely no guarantee that Moscow would take a ceasefire seriously if it would get Donbas. You have a lot of voices in Moscow, including the foreign minister, that said that Russian war aims are beyond the Donbas and that they contain affect the whole of Ukraine. They want regime change. They want a change in the way Ukraine is governed, and basically the whole Donbas episode is rather a pressure tool where Russia tries to probe how committed the US actually is, how much you can bend it over to your own interest, and how united the Western coalition still is. That's the trial balloon, and I guess the Americans fall for that over and over again.
So take us to the situation now on the front lines, because, I mean, Russian troops, they're continuing to creep forward. That's a reality. When we say that, it sounds like, Russia's victory is inevitable. Would you agree with that? Can you put that perhaps into context for us?
No, victory is inevitable is a very unserious statement, because victory would imply predicting the war seriously more than 3 months from now. And that nobody has achieved, neither on the kind of skeptical side nor on the side supporting Ukraine, because this war takes too many turns and twists, technology changes, procedures change, all basically predictions based on linear trends we observe now didn't hold water because something changed back again. On the other hand, we can, of course, see that Ukraine is under pressure, that probably Ukrainian losses in territory will accelerate the next summer, because now Russians actually have difficulties advancing their land campaign. And the sustainable of Ukraine's defense industry, which produces roughly 60 to 70% of Ukrainians' defense goods, is also in a critical condition because of the energy, electricity, and workforce situation. So it's not looking good for Ukraine. However, to state that Ukraine has not a chance to remedy or to correct mistakes it has done in the past and correct some of the structural weaknesses it has, that's also an overstatement. The same applies to Western support, particularly European support. We can, of course, conclude that the United States will not come back as a serious actor in this war. But the Europeans still have a lot of room to improve their support for Ukraine. And it will, at the end, depend on that.
Let's talk a little bit more about the pressure that Ukraine is under. We know that they are under pressure from the Americans to strike a deal, the Americans brokering the deal, in fact. Ukraine also has manpower issues. The civilian population is suffering under Moscow's aerial bombardment. I mean, when you look at the conditions that are in play right now, how high do you see the risk that Ukraine's position right now could force it into a bad peace deal?
The position is not great, admittedly. The problem is that the proposals for all these peace deals, they are so bad that I don't see Ukrainian taking them. There is no serious proposal for American security guarantees. All America offers is the potential chance of obtaining more weapons, although the US has severe issues with keeping up production. So all these are pretty vague promises for almost nothing. And for that, in return, the US asks for quite a lot. So I don't think there is any ceasefire on the horizon. There may be a ceasefire in the latter part of the year or next year, but even then I would suggest this would be rather a prologue to the continuation war than real peace.
Thank you so much, military expert Gustav Gressel. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.